Welcome to the Bloomingdale Public Library's program, Digitizing Audio Cassettes. Learn how to digitize your audio cassette tapes using our digital archiving station in the computer lab. Create audio files for use on computers and other media storage, such as USB flash drives. We will also go over basic functions and editing of audio with the programs Audacity and Adobe Audition. The Bloomingdale Public Library now has a stereo dual cassette deck player and an audio interface that will allow you to transfer cassette tapes over to a digital format. Our particular model is the Technics RS-TR157 from 1986. While it may be vintage equipment, it is still capable of transferring audio signals over to our computer with a little help from our Behringer UFO 202 audio interface. So now our archiving station has the capability of playing and digitizing audio cassette tapes. You may have a few laying around collecting dust in the attic or in a basement. Well, if you were ever curious as to what was on those tapes and you wanted to play them back or record the contents from them, you are now able to do that with our system. First things first, let's get familiar with the cassette player and the buttons that we'll need to do this process. To turn on the cassette player, press the power button. And to enter the cassette tape into the deck, press the eject button on either tape deck 1 or tape deck 2. Then, insert your audio cassette tape into the door slot with the exposed tape side facing down, and then push the door back in. With the tape deck door pushed back in, now you can press the play button to play the tape. When you are ready to stop the tape, press the square to stop the tape. This button also stops other processes like rewinding and fast forwarding. To rewind the tape, or start it at an earlier position, press the button that has the two triangles facing towards the left. That is the rewind button. You can continue to rewind until you press stop or until it gets to the very beginning and stops on its own. To fast forward or to start the tape at a later playing position, you will press the two triangles facing towards the right. And you can fast forward all the way to the end of the tape, or you can stop it before it gets to that point by pressing the stop button. There are other buttons, but for archiving purposes, these are the ones that you need to use. To keep things simple for us while digitizing these audio cassette tapes, I would suggest rewinding the tape to the very beginning, playing it back from that point until it stops at the end, so that we can capture all of the audio on that side of the tape. When you are ready to record the other side of the tape, make sure that it's stopped, then press eject, and flip the tape over to the other side, push the tape deck back in, and press play. Now that we have become familiar with the cassette player, let's get familiar with the audio interface. This is the Behringer UFO 202 audio interface that allows us to connect our cassette player to the computer. So the first thing we'll need to do, if you have one, connect your headset to the audio interface located to the right of the ion film scanner and above the DVD VHS player. After playback starts on the tape deck, you can adjust the playback volume for your headset on the interface with the black volume knob on the front right. Adjusting this will not affect the sound volume for digitizing. So now that we have familiarized ourselves with the cassette player and the audio interface, let's look at the computer. To start digitizing your audio cassette tape on the computer, the first thing you'll need to do is log into the archiving station's computer. Then you would open the program Audacity or Adobe Audition. Press the red circle or record button to start recording the audio signal. Then press the play button on the tape deck, which officially starts the digitizing process of your tape. Then, when you're ready, press the stop button on the tape player to stop playing. Press the stop button on the software to end recording of the audio signal. You can click and then drag your mouse all the way to the beginning to get to the beginning and play back the captured audio. Sounds pretty good to me. Press the stop button, and if you really wanted to get to the very end, you can press the fast forward button, and you can press the rewind button to get to the very beginning of the audio capture. And you can highlight the area where it's just a line. That represents silence. There's nothing going on there. You can just click and drag to the beginning, and then to the drop down menu for edit, click delete, and that gets rid of the dead silence, or the silence I should say, in the beginning of the audio clip. And you can play it back, and you'll notice that it is going to start almost immediately after that with the sound. And you can do the same thing for the very end as well, if there's any silence at the end, and we do have some. So we can click and drag to the end, go back to edit, then click delete, and we have this clean finish and start. Then you can save and export the recording with an audio format of your choice. If you wanted a lossless file, which means there would be no loss in quality, then you can choose .wav or wave. But if you don't mind a lossy version, which would save you some space, you can use .mp3, and this will appear, and you'll have to find a place where you'd like to save it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it to the desktop. So I click desktop here, and then we have the file name project. And from this drop down menu for quality, we do have a few different options. 320 usually is the best quality, but standard quality is what I'm going to save it as. And then when you press the save button, you will then get another menu here, or another pop-up that gives you the opportunity to give it an artist name and a track title and all this other information. If you'd like to give it a description or details here, this is the place to do it. And then press OK when you're done, and it should have saved on the desktop. You can minimize this window, go to the desktop, and you see this is my desktop, and we have a file here that says project, and we can open it with the program of our choice. I'm going to use VLC Player, and we were able to successfully capture the audio and save it to a file. Now let's go over using Adobe Audition for digitizing our audio tape. The first thing we'll need to do is open Adobe Audition 2022 here on the desktop. Alright, we get this screen. We'll press the red circle here one time, and we'll get this pop-up, and we have the opportunity to make some adjustments to it. So I just go ahead and give it a file name, and once you press OK, the recording automatically starts. When you are finished recording and editing your audio capture, what you can do to save the file is go up to the File drop-down menu, then select Save or Save As, since we haven't saved it yet. And you can give it a name, and if everything's just fine, it's going to save by default to WAV. You can select your folder that you'd like to keep it in. I'm going to select a desktop and save it there. However, if you want to save it as an MP3, you can go back to the File drop-down menu, Save, and then over here where it says Format, it's got WAV selected. We can select, and a drop-down menu will appear. We get many options. There's MP3 at the bottom, and press OK. You'll get this prompt here, but we can just press yes, and minimize this, and both of the files, WAV and MP3, are located on the desktop as expected. And you can monitor and test these out. You can click on them Use a program of your choosing to play it back. And looks like it worked just fine for us. And that is our audio capture from the tape into a digital file using Adobe Audition. So now that we have successfully captured the audio from the cassette tape and created a digital file, we'll need to send that file over to your USB flash drive. So if you haven't already, plug in your USB drive and you can go over to File Explorer, then click this PC, and it should appear among the devices and drives area of this window. And sometimes it'll just pop up. Or you can actually click on the drive itself and drag and drop them into that window. And you see I'm doing that one by one. And that is the way you will have the individual files that you recorded and saved on your USB drive. So now you actually have a copy for yourself. And if you are so inclined, you can delete the files off the desktop now. But whenever you end the session, those are wiped out so they don't save onto the computer after each session. But if you ever have any questions regarding the transfers, ask us at the help desk. We'll be more than happy to help you with that. Thank you for joining us in this program, Digitizing Audio Cassettes. Also, feel free to visit our website at mybpl.org, hover over Learn, and then select Online Courses. Then go down to the third option, LinkedIn Learning. If you are looking for online tutorials, classes that you can take, these are free of charge. All you'll need is your library card and your PIN to sign in. Thanks for joining us again, and take care.